probably. And we were coming back from the ocean, and I sat there and I thought, this is what I want to do. This actually is what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be with the ocean, cease the vision of evening. That was her calling, to help the ocean.
Exactly. So, 39 years old, with 5 children, the youngest being only 8 months old, Cora enrolled to study marine sciences at university.
I admire that so much. 5 children, and going to school, and being, I'm guessing, in a class of like 19-year-olds from your 39.
Yeah.
Well, Cora actually said the 19-year-olds were wonderful classmates to be around. Again, she just loved being with young people. And she was, of course, doing what she really wanted, which was studying the ocean. But she noticed that something was missing. It was nothing Maori. It was only the mainstream science. But if you look at the mainstream science approach to understanding the natural world compared with an indigenous or Maori approach, those approaches aim to better understand the world in which we live. The challenge was keeping my self-worth and my self-identity and finding spaces where our indigenous knowledge could shine. So was she able to bring Maori learning into her degree?
She was. So it was her final year research project, and she did this in 2007. And when she was trying to figure out, what can I actually do, what should I focus on, she decided, I'm going to go to my tribal elders in the Bay of Plenty region in New Zealand. And just to picture this is a stretch of coast along the North Island, and it is basically paradise. It's white sand, crystal blue water, but this is where Cora's ancestors originally came from. That's such a great way to find a problem to solve. They will have really good local knowledge and also historical knowledge as well that's been passed down, I assume. Yeah, exactly. So she wanted to solve a real issue that was impacting her community.
Okay, and what problem did they give her?
Green lip mussels.
One of our harbours is called Oshawa Harbour in Bulacan, and the green lip mussel population at their biomass had dropped dramatically, and nobody knew why. So my project was to find out how many mussels do we have and why are they disappearing. And from a Māori perspective, those mussels are tonga, culturally treasured species because they have sustained our people through generations, and all the practices around how we harvest those species and eat them, prepare them, etc. That knowledge provides colonisation. Okay, this is much more than just some shellfish then. The cultural significance of the species made this way more important.
So did Cora end up finding out what was causing the decline?
She did. It turned out to be a pesky predator. There were mussels present. They just went on the sea floor. And the reason they went on the sea floor is because we had 1.2 million sea stars. And they were just devouring the mussels. When you saw them, I was diving, and they were 4 to 6 layers on top of each other. Behind them, nothing but dead mussel stars, and in front of them,
That actually made me shiver. The sort of like a war of hungry starfish.
I'm not sure things like that's horrible.
Yeah, not something I'd ever think of being like the horrific image, but as Cora described it, I was like, that, if I was diving into that, I'd be out the water. I don't know, I've seen a picture of have you ever seen a picture of a starfish's mouth before? It's actually quite scary, so imagining like a whole wall of those. Actually terrifying.
Thank you. So how much did the starfish actually impact the mussels' numbers?
A lot. So she started monitoring them during this undergraduate project in 2007.
At that time, there were 112 million mussels, and there's just under 2 kilometre stretch of a reef of mussels. And by 2019, that mussel bed had disappeared, as had 2 others. There used to be 4 traditional mussel beds. By 2019, there was only 1 left, and 80,000 mussels in the entire harbour.
Wow, that is a quite significant impact.
So had people actually tried fixing this before?
Yeah, like loads of people, because mussels equals money. But these methods weren't successful. So knowing lots of people had tried and failed before her, what does Cora want to test to see if she could help restore the population? So this is where it gets really interesting, because she decided to take a leap away from what from my deemed standard method and instead combine her knowledge of marine science from her degree with her Maori culture to craft a plan which might just work. You're listening to Unstoppable for Discovery on the BBC World Service, the programme exploring the backstories of some of the most innovative brains on the planet. And today we're hearing how marine ecologist Cora Paul-Beck is helping to solve some of the problems facing our oceans. Cora found her calling to study the ocean after swimming off the coast of Sakari Island in New Zealand, where her Maori ancestors had died for generations. And after being told she wasn't smart enough to do science at school, Cora went to university for a second time later in life to become a marine ecologist. And Julie, you just said that Cora was hatching a plan to save the green-lipped mussel populations in the Bay of Plenty based on her marine studies and Maori heritage. Yes, and so she actually came across something on a walk one day that would really change her situation.
Our ancestors use, we call it tikoko, and it's a cabbage tree, cordyline of France. Cabbage tree, and their leaves are really, really resilient. We use the dead cabbage tree leaves that have fallen to the ground to make our own